Previously Yuya is despised by everyone in life for his looks, even his nuclear family reject him. However, his granddad continued to care for him, giving him life advice to always help people. One day he kind of saves Cory from some hooligans harassing her by taking a beat down. It is later revealed that his grandfather passed away and left his property to Yuya, which leads to his parents disowning him for not being able to access the inheritance. Left alone, unloved and bullied, he gets frustrated and punches his bathroom wall, which leads to his grandfather's hidden antique room. He finds a door that leads to another fantasy world with magic and a system. He levels up there, but unbeknownst to him, his stats carry over to the real world, causing his body to transform into a Chad. When he returns to school, everyone is shocked and his siblings are salty to see the change. Things continue with you repeating the name of the book as he links it to the sage he used to own the house he's currently staying in. He begins to read and his suspicions get confirmed as the sage reveals that he had mastered everything in the world to a high level, from magic and martial arts to cooking and singing. As a result, he entered the realm of the gods while he was still alive and was even offered to join the deities, but he declined their invitation. The sage's writing addresses Yuya as he comments that the strength he possesses is even more powerful than he knows, and because of that a day will come when the humans around him will start to be frightened by that same strength. This was what happened to him, and he felt alone at the top. The sage doesn't want Yuya to take the same path and have this kind of miserable ending. Yuya thinks aloud, wondering how he's supposed to make the people around him not become fearful of him. The sage's voice can be heard as he answers that Yuya should build human relationships, which is emphasized on trust. This startles him as he thinks he's hearing things. He carries on reading the book as it explains that this relationship can be between friends and lovers or parents. These should be people who will stay by his side even when everything about him is laid bare. Yuya confesses that he is someone who didn't have friends until very recently, so finding such people is a tall order. When the sage responds again, Yuya just accepts that he might be having a conversation with his spirit as the sage tells him to seek his allies at his own pace. The sage has also given him the chance to seek knowledge on one topic. Soya asks about magic and the book begins to glow. For a moment the sage reveals that he has filled the book with everything he knows of magical theory. He explains that since Yuya is an otherworlder, he doesn't possess the magical pathways, meaning he can't use magic. Humans in the fantasy world produce magical energy in their hearts, and from there it circulates through their bodies via their blood vessels. The sage decides to bestow his magical pathways upon Yuya. From his observation, his pathways are very valuable in the world, so it would be a waste to let them disappear. He only wants him to have a life that he can be proud of when he becomes accustomed to power. The book starts to glow brightly again as the characters fly off the page and pierce she off through the chest. Knight rushes over to him to make sure that he's fine with the pathways transferred to him. The sage ends by wishing him a happy life filled with good fortune. Yi thanks to sage for everything in hopes that he can finally find peace. As he pays his last respects to the corpse, Dr. Riz makes his way back to the house where he begins to read the books to understand the principles of magic. Yuya begins to put some of the teachings into practice with the Fenrir. They both close their eyes to sense magical energy. He soon feels the magic pounding with his heartbeat when it emanates through his body. Knight also felt the sensation as the skill for magic manipulation unlocks Yuya. The next step is described as simple in the book. It instructs him to gather magical energy in the palm of his hands and for him to imagine the magic he wishes to invoke. The fact that he doesn't need to learn incantations baffles him, but he decides to go outside to try it. Yuya raises his hand and starts the process and mentions his intention to enchant a water ball, and to his surprise it works. He looks over and sees that Knight has also done it the first time. He praises him on a job well done. Before they shoot it at a nearby tree, the attack jets through their target and destroys the other trees behind, which surprises them. Meanwhile, Owen has an audience with the king as he gives his report on his latest trip to the darkest region. The captain states that he met with Yuya and delivered the message, but he lets it slip that Lexia proposed to the unknown young man. The king thinks that he misheard, so he asks him to repeat himself. All the while he signals one of his servants to give his sword. The monarch begins to rampage in his throne room, even destroying the statues. Angry that a stranger has managed to seduce his princess, Owen hides in a safe place. Regretful that he let the key piece of information slip at this point, Yuya has returned to the human world where he makes his way to school as the teacher takes the register. He is lost in thought about his newly acquired use of magic, and warns himself to be careful when to use it. The teacher announces the upcoming off-campus study the school is holding. Everyone in the class is aware of this, but this news takes you all by surprise. Yukon advises him that he should be more aware of school activities before informing him that they will be going on a camping trip for 2 days as a class. The teacher continues her announcement, telling them that they will be put into teams of 4 people. The students get together in their groups. Keed is happy that she is in the same group as Aya. Akira is also part of the firm and begins to show off, but he is interrupted by the newest personality, Rin, who formally introduces herself. After meeting Ya, she finally understands why all the girls are going crazy over him, as his chadness is oozing out of his body. She downplays it when Yuya overhears her and quickly changes the topic. Yuya is a little worried as he reveals that he doesn't have a rucksack. He remembers that his granddad used to travel a lot, so he might have one. Keith suggests that they should go shopping together. Instead, they decided to meet at the mall after school, and everyone is astonished that they are joined by Kaori, who introduces herself since she is the daughter of the chairman. The students are a little intimidated by her, and it doesn't help that she is attractive. She is happy to be joining them, knowing the mission plan of helping Yoff find a suitable bag. The boys pull Yuan to the side and press that he knows Carl's story. He asks about Akira, and he's informed that the guy couldn't make it because something came up. The group proceed forward to the store where Kaori picks out the perfect camping bag for Yuya. After testing it, everyone agrees that it suits him, so he buys it. With their main objective achieved so early, Ryu urges them to have some fun, so they proceed to the amusement plaza to play games. Upon their arrival, they are further excited that the place is not so busy since it's a weekday. Ya is shocked that the whole floor is arcade, but Shingo's screen catches their attention as he makes his way to a crane machine that has merchandise of his favorite idol. The guy reveals that he's not good at the crane games, so Yuya steps forward and offers to play for him. Yui uses his abilities to spot the ones that have the highest chance of being picked. Everyone watches on and on as he picks it up on the first try and hands over the box to an excited Shindo. Ki drags him to another stall, requesting one of the stuffed cats. Inside, he uses his skill again to get one. The others see that Yuya is good at the game, so they also request he gets various things for them. Yuya later suggests that they make their way to the 7th floor, which is a cafe for tea and snacks. However, the ladies want to have some alone time as they head to the 13th floor, which is for girls' fashion. They promise to join them after they have finished, so the guys decide to take the lead on the hot drinks. As they arrive at the cafe, both Yia and Ryu are laughed at by Shingo because they try to be sophisticated by taking coffee, but they find it bitter because they're not used to it. Meanwhile, back at the arcade, one of the machines has a broken wire and begins to spark. Shortly after, the lads' tea break is cut short when the fire alarm begins to go off, announcing a fire outbreak on the 10th floor. The guys spring up when they realize that the outbreak is at the arcade they were just at. They do the exact opposite of the evacuation order and head over to the stairs to access the upper floors. Since the girls are up there, Yuya notices that the smoke is already visible on their floor, which means it must be even worse on the upper floors. One of the mall staff tries to expedite the evacuation as Yuya explains that they need to get to the upper floor as 3 of their friends are up there. Raya gets a call from Keith confirming that they were unable to escape, and from her voice, he can tell that they don't have long left. After hearing this from Ryu, Yuya dashes past the staff and heads to the upper levels. The mall staff gets a little bit more aggressive as he ushers the other 2 down the stairs to safety. All the while, Yia thinks about the girls' smiles throughout their outing and is determined to protect their happy faces. He reaches the floor where the fire originated, and it's bad as the sprinklers are ineffective at quenching the flames. Given the situation, Ye feels like he has no other option than to use magic. The guy surrounds himself with water before dashing through the flames. The girls lie near the female's washroom unconscious. As the flames approach them, Kaori tries to hold on and manages to get a glimpse of E's silhouette before losing consciousness too. But the Super Chad catches her before she hits the ground. After confirming that his friends are safe, he uses his location skill to check the building for anyone else who might be trapped too, and to his relief, they are the last to evacuate. Yoga grabs all 3 girls and coats them in his water magic as he prepares their escape, but unfortunately the fire intensifies and he's not sure if his magic can hold out. Meanwhile, outside, the firefighters are on site working to quench the blaze. They receive reports that there are 4 high School students remaining. Yuya runs through the building to find an exit, but the fire has blocked all the doors. The upper floors are starting to collapse as the ceiling falls on them. He manages to dodge, however Kaori's badge falls and he notices and catches it. Yuya thinks fast and decides to create his path down, so he releases his power and begins to break his way through the multiple floors. The impact can be seen outside. Ryu and Chingo watch on with their mouths open, waiting for the dust to clear. The firefighters confirm that it is them on the first floor. The two rush over as Yuya assures everyone that they are fine. With a relieved look on his face, the heroes of Blaze give him a scolding for his reckless actions. As he apologizes, the girls are given oxygen to recover, just as is Kaori's father thanks Yuya for saving his daughter's life. Again, he returns her badge to her, which makes her happy. Seeing how the father and daughter interact makes him long for a proper family. As he arrives home, Night jumps on him excited that he's returned, which makes you feel loved. Meanwhile, back in the fantasy world, the deity of kicks named Yasagi gets attacked by a mysterious girl with a sinister aura who is using the techniques of a divine archer. The girl reveals her goal to destroy the world. Feeling like it's not worth protecting, she disappears and tells the rabbit that she will return. This worries him a little, so he decides that he must find someone to pass on his kicking techniques to, so that they can help stop this new foe. That brings the episode to an end.